Here we go. We're live now. So, excellent. Welcome to the University of Colorado, and thank you, Courtney, for helping to coordinate the event tonight. I'm Crystal Freitagger. I'm the Senior Manager of Academic and Industry Relations with Aspen Dental Management. I represent the 800 plus Aspen Dental branded private practices nationwide. For those of you who don't know a lot about Aspen Dental Management yet, I want to give you a little bit of background on it. Aspen Dental Management, currently we're represented in 43 states, with just opening New Jersey this year. And our 44th state, Colorado, opens next year in 2021. So we'll start opening in the first and the second quarter, which is exciting. A little bit more about Aspen Dental. Aspen Dental Management, a DSO, is a built-in business partner and consultant for our dentists. We offer every type of support that our dentists may need, and we're 100% aligned with their success. We want them to succeed. Our dentists own the practice under the Aspen Dental brand, and we provide that non-clinical business support to the dentists when they need it and however they need it. And for tonight, we're fortunate enough to have 3 practice owners on with us to answer the questions that are important to you. We have Dr. Adrian and Dr. Joseph Fermonic, and we have Dr. Adam Marina. And before I have them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about themselves, let me go through 2 other points as well for this evening. You'll notice at the bottom of your screen, there's a Q&A function at the bottom of the Zoom screen, and we'll be utilizing that tonight if you want to pose questions, live questions to the panelists, so you can utilize that. And then I'll also be reading from the list of questions that you pre-submitted on the Google registration form for this evening. So we'll be utilizing both of those. If you have additional questions after the event tonight, you can reach me using my email that's on the Google registration form, or I'll also put my contact in the chat this evening, so you'll have both of those ways to be able to do that. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. And let's get started with first introducing our practice owners and learning a little bit about them. So Dr. Adam Marina, let's start with you. And if we get a little bit of background from you, Doc, go right ahead.
Sure. Hey, you guys, how's it going? My name's Adam Marina. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, actually, and I went to UNLV for undergrad and for dental school. Sorry, I'm on my phone, still at work here. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so I went to UNLV for dental school and for undergrad. I grew up I was born and raised in Las Vegas, and I actually made the move to Kansas here for this job. Actually, I really wanted to work for Aspen Dental. Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I'm still at work. They're still coming to grab me.
We know that happens.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I made this move to Kansas to work with Aspen Dental. That's how much I actually like this company. So yeah, I've been here for about a year. I started in December of last year, and I just bought my first practice here at the beginning of September. So yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations, Doctor.
Thank you.
You bet. Dr. Adrian, Dr. Joseph, let's have you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you guys.
You tell the story.
Okay, I'll tell the story. So Joseph and I started with Aspen right after we graduated dental school in 2016. And we worked with Aspen in the Des Moines area, and wanted the opportunity to own more than one practice. And so we relocated to Central Missouri. We currently own 2 practices there. And then in January, we relocated to Kansas City, and that's where we live now. And I'm the large group practice owner for Kansas, so I work with the Kansas doctors, and Joseph owns a practice in the Kansas City metro at the time. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Docs. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and dive into what we have for questions. We have a good list of questions that are coming in already for tonight. So the first thing that I want to walk into is the question everyone asked. So I think getting this out of the way is important, but they want to know, how does Aspen, in your eyes, how does Aspen differ from other corporate dental offices? So Dr. Adrian, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, sure.
He's worked with both.
So actually, yeah, he might not be, he's not there right this second. That's also a good question for Dr. Marina, because he's worked at other corporate dental places. For us, I don't know so much how they different from, say Heartland or Pacific, because I don't know, I haven't worked for them. But with Aspen, you have the autonomy to see patients and do your own treatment plan. We encourage mentorship at the beginning of starting your career with Aspen. You get typically at least 4 weeks working with another doctor, usually a practice owner, to help guide you to make good clinical decisions if you don't always know. I was just talking with the doctor who I work with today, and we said, you know, you don't always know the best things to do right when you get out of school because you haven't done that much. So you're very fortunate to have the guidance from COVID, yeah, from another doctor to help mentor you as you start out. But it's a great company to work for. You have a lot of autonomy. You know, the question that everybody hears, no, you don't have to do X amount of money in dentistry. That's always a question that everybody wants to know.
Crowns,
Yeah, you don't have to cut like 5 crowns or 30 fillings or whatever. There's not certain expectations or limitations or anything like that.
And both doctors, so you guys are practice owners, and actually, and Dr. Marina is a practice owner too. And can you talk a little bit about, and I know you don't know necessarily others, but is that a big thing that was a draw for you for Aspen Dental as well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if you would know, Crystal, because you've worked with me, but if somebody came out telling me exactly what I was going to do and they were a dentist, I would have said, hell no. Nobody's going to tell me how to do dentistry. So yeah, I mean, that was made very clear up front that there were no, you know, guidelines from corporate that you had to do so much or so little.
Absolutely. Excellent. Yeah. Let's move on. We'll come back and see if Dr. Marina has anything to that. But Dr. Joseph, did you want to put anything else in there?
No, she killed it.
Perfect. That's what I think. So the next question that I have is, what are some of the common mistakes dental students make coming off of graduation? Now, I know you guys are working and mentoring with a lot of new grads as well. So maybe you can answer that for them.
That's a good one for you, babe.
The biggest mistake would probably be going somewhere where you don't get mentorship, or you get inadequate mentorship, or you get mentorship that's maybe not applicable to real life dentistry. One of my best friends did a GPR, and it's all hospital-based dentistry, and he does not work in a hospital right now, so that's not very applicable. He's working for Aspen right now in the Nebraska market, but he put himself a year behind, and he probably learned more in the first 4 weeks of working for Aspen than he did in a year-long GPR. And I'm not saying like don't do that if that's something you want to do, but I think that Aspen has a unique formula to mentorship. Especially a lot of the new docs are coming out as a position of an associate, and you have a mentor built into your office from the start, where you have somebody who's going to manage the practice, the managing dentist. So,
and then teach you how to do it and how it works, and
you know.
Excellent. That's a great point. Dr. Marina, I know you didn't get to hear that, so I'll repeat really what that was. So what the question was is, what are common mistakes dental students make coming off of graduation? And you heard, I think, Dr. Joseph's response. Anything else to add for that, Doc, that you've seen?
Yeah, so I actually, I wanted to say something on that. Is I definitely agree with Joe. One of the biggest things is that a lot of the companies that I've seen, like I worked for PDS for a few months before I came over here, just because I was stuck in Las Vegas for some family issues. And one of the things I noticed was with PDS is that it's not mentorship, even when you're in a mentorship position. Like I was working with a good friend of mine actually, and he owns an office with 33 operatories. It's this massive office. They have every specialty you can imagine. They even have like anesthesia that comes there if you need it. But it was a competition. Everyone in the office I was competing with to do procedures, even the owner who was supposed to be mentoring me to go like, work in other offices and to open up other offices. But it was a competition with him. He'd come in, if an implant came in or something like that, it wasn't like, oh, like here, you do this, like, cause I want to show you how to do it. It was like, that's mine because I'm the owner and I have first say in this. Whereas at Aspen, it's in the benefit of the owner doctor or the MCD to teach the other dentists there to do what they're doing, because you bonus off production off of the whole office. You don't bonus off production of yourself, which is very uncommon, I think, in DSOs. A lot of like, I don't know how Heartland is, but I know that PDS, like when you're there, like you're only bonusing off what you do. So it's in everyone's own interest to just look out for themselves. Whereas at Aspen, it's really in the benefit of everyone to help everyone.
Wow, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was actually part of the question, the first question that we had was, how does Aspen differ from other corporate dental offices? And Dr. Adrian said, Dr. Marina is going to be able to answer that real well. So
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yeah. I worked at PDS. So.
Anything else, Doc, that you saw overall that you would see as a difference between Aspen Dental and other DSOs, other than what you just stated?
I mean, other than like, I mean, things like that. I mean, obviously, like, I hate to always bring it back to like the pay, but I mean, you know, we're everyone has to make a living, you know, and so like if you compare it with PDS, I mean, again, that's the only one I can really compare it to, and I don't mean to like knock on them or anything. I have friends that like it over there and everything, but I mean, if you compare Aspen and PDS, I mean, PDS, like you only have like the daily guarantee for, I think it's 3 months or 6 months, depending on where you're working at. They don't give you like sign-on benefits. They don't give you like, in some locations like Aspen does, a student loan repayment. And honestly, the bonus structure here makes way more sense. Like over there, I was doing quite a bit of production, and at the end of the month, they almost like found ways to make it so like the owner made more money and I didn't. And again, he was a friend of mine, so it was kind of like a slap in the face, you know, to see that. So at Aspen, I mean, I've never felt like I was, you know, scammed out of money, and I've never felt like I was forced to do procedures that I wasn't comfortable with. In fact, no one ever even, like, except for like Joseph when I was mentoring with him, no one even really criticized like my work or anything. You know,
So criticize the work.
well, I mean, my treatment plans, you know, you're like, this doesn't, and even Adrian too, like, she comes in, she's like, oh, yeah, and it helps. I mean, like, you're not perfect when you graduate from dental school, as much as I thought I was.
Right.
You know, it helps to have someone, you know, give you an idea of what you need to do. But I never felt forced to do a ton of crowns like I was over at PDS, where like unless you do a bunch of crowns, you're not making your daily guarantee.
Gotcha. Doc, I think since you brought up about compensation, and we have so many questions on compensation, can we just dive into that and talk about really what Aspen Dental's compensation structure is?
Sure.
And I know you walked through some, but maybe you could just walk through what the structure looks like.
Me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. So like whenever you start out as an associate or MCD, your daily guarantee is like $600. And then if you're an associate, you bonus, it's like a versus commission kind of thing. So you either get your daily guarantee or you get your commission, whatever's higher. So as an associate, you get between 8 and 10%, or as an MCD, you get between 16 and 20%. And it's based off of like your patient satisfaction in a way. So like basically the more your patients like you, the more money you make. So it's kind of in your benefit to treat them well as you know, have them enjoy your presence and everything, and you have good treatment plans. But the daily guarantee, I've never once had to take it, like unless I was doing like shadowing or mentoring with someone else. Like, I mean, ever since I've worked here, I don't think I've ever made like less than like $1,000 a day, just on average, in terms of bonuses and everything.
Absolutely. And Doc, one of the questions that I get frequently, especially from students, and it's probably because they're out there interviewing, is does our compensation reset every month? So if for some reason, you said you've never had to take the guarantee, you've always made more, but if for some reason you actually earned less than the guarantee, can you talk a little bit about that and how Aspen Dental, you know, it resets every month, so you're not paying anything back?
Yeah, so that was another thing that was with PDS, is that it kind of built up over time. Like, so I was only there for a few months, so it didn't happen to me, but I had friends that were getting paychecks for $0 because they didn't do well enough like the last paycheck. So their daily guarantee wasn't enough to get them through. So at Aspen, every single month, if you're you know, if you did terrible the month before, you start with a clean slate at the beginning of the next month, so you're not owing them any money. Whereas at PDS, I talked to owners that were in debt $1 million because they had their buy-in debt, which was, you know, like $800,000, as well as everything in addition to that. So this one guy I talked to, he was in debt $1.3 million. So his monthly payments were $16,000 on a practice that he supposedly owned.
Wow. Well, thanks for covering that. And we have a question here, and you may have answered. So this just came in. Your daily guarantee is a draw. What if you can't, I think you just did, what if you can't make that for several months? Why can't it be a salary instead of a draw? And I think you just answered that for the most part, didn't you, Doc? You believe? Anyone else?
What do you mean? Like,
it's you get your 600 a day regardless of if you produce that or not. It's your guarantee. It's your guaranteed salary.
Yeah,
and then if
never
you produce over that, If the practice produces over that, your bonus is 8 to 10%.
Excellent. So what might be easier too for them to understand is some averages. And again, you're interviewing with a practice owner, so you really have the ability to be able to negotiate your rate with the practice owner. However, averages, according to Dr. Marina, of course, with what you said at that $600 daily rate, then you're looking at an annual salary of a minimum of around $160,000, and that would be minimum. So that would be the salary, which converts over to what the daily rate is.
Correct.
Excellent. Okay, so that. Thank you both. The next question that I have is, how long before graduation did you start talking to other offices and start looking for a position? Dr. Marina, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, so I started in like my second and third year dental school, but that was just because I was part of ASDA and I was meeting with all the reps anyways to set up like the vendor fair, which I highly recommend doing if you guys are trying to find a club to get involved in. Definitely do ASDA. It helped a lot. That's how I met like my recruiter through Aspen, from PDS, from Heartland, all those guys, and even like local private practices if you're not interested in going DSO. So I started like my second year, but I'd say the latest I'd start by my third year.
Okay, excellent. And Dr. Forman, how about you guys?
We were a little late to the game.
Ooh, were we ever? So Adrian and I, we never went to a single thing. Like those lunch and learn things, never went to one. Never saw an Aspen thing ever.
No, we were from the group of people who were gonna work in private practice.
So Adrian, we signed her up for Pacific, Heartland, Midwest, like all in Aspen. And Aspen was the first one that called back. And then I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like it like seemed too good to be true. And so I was like, let's try them, because one of us needed to have healthcare, because I was going to have Joseph Dental. And so I was going to work in private practice. And then I strung along this private practice strung me along until like May. Almost May, probably April, May. And then I'm getting all these contracts in there for the state of Colorado, and we were planning on living in Iowa.
It was bizarre.
It was very bizarre. And so I called her recruiter a day before I was supposed to start in private practice.
It was like, hey, I need a job.
And had one within
And he had one
2 hours?
2 seconds. Yeah, it was awesome.
And so
and really for us, it was like we'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
First job, we have health
3
insurance,
months.
we'll make it work. I can look for something else while I'm here. And here we are 4 years later.
like Marina said, so like if you do your $600 daily draw, that's $12,000 a month. Like I've never made just the daily draw. And so like, that's what
yeah, you were very financially motivated.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Excellent. Good information, you guys. So the next thing I have is, what questions, and I can just see what Dr. Joseph's going to say to this, but what questions did you wish you'd asked during your interview? I'm thinking that of, just as you guys were going through, is there anything that you wish you would have known that you would have asked during your interview that you didn't? Or that you asked and you're glad you did?
Well, I would not be afraid to ask any question, and nothing's a dumb question, because I remember before I went to college, psych degree, dental school, I've never had a real job before. So if you don't know how to ask, how much am I paid, and make sure that you really, really understand it. What are my benefits? What are the expectations of me? Will I be working with another doctor?
Also being honest about what you want.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want out of this situation? Do you want, I want to own a practice, one practice, that's all I want, and I want to own it myself, all by myself. Well, moving to Des Moines, Iowa is a terrible idea, because there's not a practice there. But keeping that all bottled up inside, you're not going to get what you want. So Adrian and I were planning on living in Des Moines forever. And we were going to buy one office in Des Moines, because that's all there was. And so I had made it very known that I wanted to grow. I was trying to beg them to put one in different cities. And I was like, look, we could put one here.
And Crystal just wouldn't.
And yeah, Crystal didn't care enough and didn't want me to stay with her. So she shipped me off to Missouri.
Oh, he's teasing. So anyway, we made it clear what we wanted. And we were able to get that by relocating.
Yeah. So it's very rare to get everything you want.
It just doesn't fall into your
like
lap.
to get location, the money you want to make, the job title you want. It's very difficult for that to happen. You can usually get 2 of the 3, but getting all 3 is very difficult. So if you have a certain location that I have to live in this city, it's a lot more difficult to
get everything,
get the full ownership, or, and so
just be clear with what you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't understand something, ask, because you won't look like an idiot. I didn't understand the compensation model. You just have to ask.
I think that's great advice for it. I think you're absolutely right. So the next thing that I have is, how do you know when you're ready to transition from an associate to a lead?
Joseph?
Typically, you'll know. You'll know. Usually there's guidance, whether it's from ADMI, from Aspen, or it's from your doctor that owns the office. You're going to know, and you're going to be told that. And if it's something that you want and nobody's telling you that, you should probably be having conversations with either the owner or one of your liaisons from Aspen. Right now in my Lee Summit office, I'll be there for another month before I go to Independence. And then I'm building an office in Belton in December. And so I have 2 associates in my Lee Summit office, and they both know, like, one of them knows he's the next managing clinical director.
Stronger. Yeah.
He's just stronger. It's obvious to both of them, and he knows it, and the other associate knows it as well. And so you'll know, but the other associate wants growth. And so she may be there for 3 months, and then I may say, you're going to go to Belton and be the managing clinical director in this other office. But if she said, I have to work in Lee Summit and that's all I can do, then she's going to be the associate there, And so,
but I'd say you probably know when you can manage the schedule, and when your owner doctor recognizes you can manage the schedule, and you can be productive and
it's not necessarily a sprint. I have had dentists come in as managing clinical directors as new grads, and I've had them come in as associates. What I'll tell you is you get a lot less rope to hang yourself if you come in as a managing clinical director. Like, expectations are a lot different than being an associate. And so typically now I'm hiring more associates than managing clinical directors, because I find when I can grow the dentist the way I prefer treatment to be rendered, there's a lot better outcome. And so
there's more opportunity for guidance.
I have
I see what you're saying.
A partner in Columbia, and it took him 9 months to get to partnership from being a new grad. I have another person who has been an associate at Aspen for the last 1.5 years, and 4 months ago went to a managing clinical director, and he's going to go to partnership in a month. So there are opportunities for growth, and typically you'll realize that, and your owner doctor will.
Absolutely. And that kind of tails into, the next question is, and I think you may have covered a little of this, but did you start as an associate or a lead? And then what advice would you give on whether you should start as an associate or as a lead? So Doc, you covered some of that, but maybe you could be specific to what both of you did.
Sure. So yeah, I started as an associate. I was completely clear that I wanted mentorship. And my mentor was Dr. Joe Tassine, and he's awesome. And I love him dearly. He mentored me really well. And I wanted to be an associate. I wanted to work with another doctor, always have someone in the office with me. And that worked out really great for me. Joseph, on the other hand, came out guns a-blazing, and he was ready to go straight to MCD, and he did well in that. And then went to ownership in I don't know, roughly 1.5 years, 2 years.
Well, we kept switching offices. Yeah. So, I switched 3 offices, so
yeah.
Crystal wouldn't let me stay still.
So there's not one path for everyone. There's
not at all.
Yeah.
And what you need is right.
Totally.
It's different for everyone, and you'll know what you should do. You'll
when you're feeling comfortable and you can manage your patient flow,
Like I've had an associate that came in and he was an associate for 3 months.
Because he was ready to go.
He was already ready to be an MCD.
Other doctors are associates for years.
Excellent. And I do have a question on this, and that is pros and cons of being an associate for a long period of time.
A pro of being an associate for a long period of time, there's less work. Less is
there's less
demanded.
managing.
There's less demanded of you. A managing clinical director has to deal with, first of all, they're seeing twice as many patients, and they're dealing with office issues that can arise.
There's management and staff issues that kind of go
just
with
like
that.
A partner would be dealing with more staff issues, and a owner would be dealing with even more issues. So there's layers to everything. An associateship prolonged typically gives you more flexibility, like Adrian kind of picks and chooses her days.
I mean, a lot of time, I would say this, with an associate role, you often have the opportunity to go part-time, which works well for us because we have a small child. So there's flexibility with that. There's not really that much of an option to be part-time as an MCD or a partner or an owner.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of people may need that. Absolutely. Another follow-up on that is, okay, so I think you answered this one. How soon can you become an managing clinical director, and do you have to be an associate first? So Joseph, you were talking through yours, and you were not an associate first.
I was never an associate.
You don't have to be an associate first.
You also have to be aware of like the responsibility that you're taking on. I was very confident, but I also came out and I was able to do well right out the bat. And so a lot of times when you go into an owned office, maybe the interview process. Fido, keep down. It's our neighbor's dogs.
It's Raymond, the neighbor's dog.
Oh, he's chasing that little Yorkie that escaped the other yard.
I think whatever's a good fit for you, you can certainly manage MCD or associate.
Being an MCD in an owned office is there's a lot of responsibility, and so not that it doesn't happen, but you'd have to be very confident in your skill.
I think that helps, because the question, there was a follow-up question to that too, and it's, is it possible to be an MCD as a fresh grad? And you just said it is.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Yeah.
You have to be confident. And what else, Don?
You have to be confident, and then it's not like we're just going to throw you out to the wolves, but I trained Marina, he wasn't a fresh grad. I've trained 2 or 3 docs in the last 6 months. Went straight to the MCD. Went straight to the MCD role. I wouldn't necessarily say it's 3 months of being an associate. Like, you're not going to be an associate if you're killing it. Like, that's just, we're going to find a position for you
as an MCD, because if you're really productive, then you can have a greater bonus structure.
Yeah. So that's kind of the way I view it.
So let's move on to the next question. And that is, and I think Doc had covered this a little bit, but just briefly. So they do want to know, is there a loan repayment as an option? And did you research the best loan repayments before you started, looking?
So yes, there is loan repayment. Typically they're for offices that are a little bit more difficult to attract doctors to. I gave $100,000 to my Columbia doctor for student loan repayment. I gave $100,000 to my Jeff City doctor, which is open if y'all want a spot. I've got a spot there that will be opening up, especially by the time you guys graduate, probably around the December time. My doctor in Columbia gave up his student loans after about 9 months, because partnership, he makes
more money,
triple that being a partner in a year than student loan.
Yeah, for sure.
And so,
but yes, student loan repayment is an option, but to be very transparent, it's most commonly for locations that are hard to staff. You're not going to be living, you know, in Miami or New York City or, you know, an urban area of a town with student loan repayment, because that's not as difficult of a position to fill.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think that's fair, Chair. And then a follow up to this around salary is, would I earn a higher salary if I completed a GPR or an AEGD first?
Nope.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I own multiple offices and I pay myself $600 a day. In fact, Adrian is on an old contract and gets paid $550 a day.
He's a stinker.
So I know everybody gets hung up on the daily draw, and like, I really don't think that you should. If you're in a producing office and you have a good mentor and you're an associate, like,
You can still get an associate bonus.
it's not like Dr. Marina said, I've literally never been paid $600 a day, ever. Like, and if
certainly it's there, the opportunity for bonusing and for
you can try and
and your daily draw is guaranteed, and it's not taken away at any point or anything like that.
And so I don't think there's any point in fighting for more daily draw.
Yeah, there's no right.
So if I paid myself $1,200 a day, my bonus would just be less.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's just coming out in a different manner in bonus.
Right.
Excellent. So the next question I have is, will I receive assistance, or can I receive assistance with relocation? So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost every contract that I sign either has relocation or a sign-on bonus of some sort. I'm not dumb. Like, I was in dental school. Like,
we had no money.
I didn't have money to fill my car with gas to drive home at Christmas. So like, I understand. And like, then you want a DEA for $700 and you want a license for $300. Like, I get it. And so I typically will offer one or the other to almost every applicant. If you're going to Jefferson City, you're getting a lot more money than if you're coming to Kansas City, just because I have 200 applicants for Kansas City and I have 12 for Jeff City. So I'm willing to help out a lot more financially in harder to source markets.
excellent. And the follow-up question on that is, how does the relocation work? So what does that process look like?
So we've been relocated twice. The first time that we were relocated, we had a 1-month-old baby, 1.5-month-old baby.
So, yeah.
And Adrian, I was already living down in Columbia, Missouri, and my wife was living in Des Moines, Iowa, and she packed up an entire house.
No, I didn't pack it up. So Aspen
packed it up?
Aspen, you suck. He's the worst. Aspen works with a transport company, and they come and they pack your stuff and they move it down and they unload it. So you don't have to pay for it and you get reimbursed. Aspen works with you on that to get it taken care of.
Excellent. Dr. Marina, you had relocation as well?
I did, yeah. Actually, it was pretty nice because they give you like a set amount that you can use.
Money to use.
Yeah, and I was like, I was greedy, and I was like, oh, I'll just move myself, and so I packed everything up, and I like towed my car myself, and like kept most of the money.
And kept the cash.
I regret it.
Yeah, that was an option.
You just had them come and they like pack all your cups and everything, and then it just comes to your house.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next questions I have are on compensation that came up. And this one is the compensation of production or collection? So maybe we can walk through more specifically about how the compensation profit model is determined.
Did you answer that question?
It's them average.
Okay, so Joseph just told me, because this is an answer I don't know. It's the average of collection versus production, less expenses. Dental expenses. Like lab bills. He's reading it to me. I don't know this question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Dr. Marina, sounds like he's going to take it.
Okay.
No. Actually, I don't know for sure either. As far as I know, it was off production, right?
Yeah, it's the average of both. It's the average of the total months of the clinic's average production and collection, or
Yes.
what we call deposit. So yeah, it'd actually be both. And then Dr. Adrian, you're absolutely right, minus the clinic's expenses.
Yes.
Excellent. And then the next question I have is, this is a little bit longer one. So as an associate, we have a daily guarantee of 600 and the bonus of 8 to 10%. Can you please explain what the percentage is based on? Is it from the production of the clinic, including lead dentist, associate hygienist, and other dentists, etc., or the associate's production only?
No.
And how are lab expenses included in this? Do we take care of our own lab expenses?
So it's based on the entire production of the office, and you don't pay any lab bills personally. You don't pay anything personally. The office, that comes out of the office money.
Because that's part of the clinic expenses.
Correct.
It is part of the clinic.
Correct.
And then
Right.
could we explain, they want to know, could you explain the percentage and how that percentage is based? I know, Dr. Marina, you said it earlier with how the 8 to 10% is determined. Maybe you could clarify that for this question.
Do you mean off of like what work I do? Is it based off of? Yeah.
I think is the bonus. You can probably explain it that way too, Doc. Yes, they said yes.
Okay. Yeah. So it's based off. So for example, my office, I'm the only dentist here right now. So it's just off my production, my hygienist production, and my dentures that I do. So you also make money off the denture lab that you have back here. That's all the dentures you're doing. So for like another office where you have an associate or something like that, you're also making money off them, just the same they make money off you.
Mm-hmm.
And Doc, what if you have a specialist in the office?
You get a percentage of that as well.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, anything that adds production to the office, you make money off of.
Excellent. The next question that I have is, and I don't know if one of you guys can do this, but it says, can you give me an example of what a prior associate has earned on an annual basis?
I mean, I can tell you what I make. I don't mind sharing that. I mean, as an MCD, so I was never an associate. I mean, because I asked for the MCD position. There was an opening, and I was able to take it at the time. That's not super common though. Like I was saying before, I've never made like less than $1,000 a day. Even during COVID, I think I still made $1,000 or more a day. A typical month for me is like, you get your daily guarantee, which is the $600 a day. But with the production and everything that we do, and my office isn't even close to as busy as like the Fermonix offices that they have. They regularly bonus quite a bit more than I do, or their associates do as well. But I mean, a typical paycheck was like for a month was anywhere from like $20,000 to $30,000.
Excellent. And Dr. Joseph, what that question was is, could you tell me what, basically they want to know what an associate's, can you give me an example of what a prior associate has earned? And Dr. Marina didn't have a prior associate, but he was able to share his.
My associate was in Jeff City making like $4,000 to $5,000 bonuses on top of his regular paycheck. And so if you figure $600 a day, if you work 21, 22 days, that's $13,200, and you have another $4,000 or $5,000, you're making just under 20, about 20,000.
Excellent. That's pretty close to what Doc said too.
But other associates, like that's like that that's not like guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's choosing the correct office.
It's having the opportunity to work with an owner doctor and a strong MCD.
Absolutely. The next thing I have is, and it might be because you brought this up, Doc, but can you tell me which of your offices you're looking for partners in? So
there you go. There we go. We might land one.
Honestly, my big office right now is the Jefferson City office. I have an MCD in there right now that's doing about $30,000 to $35,000 a month. Like 2 months ago, he did $43,000. He has to unfortunately relocate for family reasons. And so that's my big office where you know, if you're a partner there, you're making $500,000 a year. My other offices, there's other offices all throughout KC that I'm
In Kansas,
in Kansas
that are looking for strong doctors.
for strong doctors. I don't know about Dr. Marina, but as far as I'm concerned, every one of my offices I'd like to have a partner in. I'm not a very greedy person, I would say.
Yeah, well, you know, when you have a partner, you have someone else who's invested in the office and who wants to do well, and there's opportunities for other people to succeed also.
Absolutely.
So glad to have partners.
Dr. Marina, same, you're shaking your head, yeah, same.
Yeah, you know, I agree. I think that's the best route to do it. I mean, I'd say not all situations, but I'd say a good situation is like if you get in with a good owner, like the Fermonics, for example. Like, I mean, I know the partners that they have are making more than a lot of owners are. So if you're a partner in a good office, that can be better than being an owner in your own office.
Good point. Okay. And then the next question I have is the percentage or of the guarantee bonus, let's see, is the percentage or the guarantee bonus is different between offices? Oh, okay. So maybe you could, Doc, I know you hit on that. So they just want to know what the guarantee and the bonus percent, is it different between offices? And maybe we could explain that a little bit more.
You got it, Marina.
No, it's the same for all the offices. It's just depending again, like on the rating, the patient stats that would change the percentage you get, either 16 or 20 if you're MCD or 8 to 10 for an associate.
Excellent. Thanks, Doc. And the next question I have, and this one actually came up right before I put that last one. They want to know, can you tell us what what is the monthly revenue that your office is producing? So Dr. Adrian or Dr. Joseph, you guys want to talk through that one?
Here's mine.
This month I want to talk about yours.
So Missouri's different than the average Aspen office.
Well, not necessarily.
We're like number one in growth in the
Yeah.
company right now. So we're doing very well. My Jeff City office hasn't seen doing below $200,000 in dentistry in eons.
Yeah.
For a while there, it was averaging about 250. My Columbia office averages probably 220 to 230, and my Lee Summit one is now doing 250 a month and $250,000 a month. I'm sorry.
That's a good productive office.
That's a really good productive office. I'd say the average Aspen does like what, 160, Crystal?
I would say 160, 170. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so.
Absolutely. And the next question they want to know is, am I required to sign a restrictive covenant, and for how long?
Oh, are you ever? No, you're not. You're not required. So we say like, hey, we're gonna send you over an employment contract or whatever.
That's a dog barking. Jeez.
Stop hitting our kid. So I interviewed a doctor today and she kept on calling it a contract. And then like I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? It's not even a contract. You can open up shop right next door to me. Like work for me for a year.
There's no restrictive covenants.
There's no covenant. And at first, like that was something that I cared about too, because kind of everywhere else has them.
Yeah.
Like I interviewed a doctor in Columbia that was from Pacific and I couldn't hire him.
Oh, okay.
Because of his covenant.
Okay.
And I was like, he's like, will you help me pay it out? And I was like,
yeah.
Like, no. Like, I don't have them.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, maybe you could walk through what yours are when you guys put out an offer, what that is.
As far as an offer to a new doc?
Yeah, that it doesn't have a restrictive covenant.
No. Yeah, well, I don't restrict covenant. Like, in fact, I'll tell you, you can work for me for 6 months or 6 years, and you can open up shop right next to me, and it will not offend me. Typically, we're not going after the same patient base that maybe private practice is going after, or even like Pacific and Heartland for that matter. We're doing a lot more patients that have neglected their dental health. And so that's not your typical 6-month recall. Every 2 years you find an occlusal filling on number 2. Like
we've got a lot more full mouth cases.
Full mouth cases and a
lot of
of
denture care.
Fixed pros.
And fixed.
Yeah.
So you're putting out a letter of agreement for whoever you're putting that offer out to, and there's no, from what you're saying, there's no restrictive covenant and there's no non-compete.
Literally, when I
Correct.
interview you, I will tell you, you can set up shop next to me.
Excellent. Thanks, Doug. The next thing I have is, do you feel that it's more important to focus on paying off loans or investing in a practice during the first couple of years after school?
That's funny. Joseph and I differ in that opinion.
So I have a finance degree, and Adrian has a psychology degree, and I have finances that I could have paid off our student loans, and
we chose not to.
We have chose not to, and we've chosen to grow.
We've invested. We choose to invest to grow long term versus pay the loans off right now.
If you could go back, would you change it?
Nope. And I wouldn't change it.
Outstanding.
I can tell you my partner right now in Columbia did the same thing, and he's
done very well.
He bought into the partnership, and I can tell you for a fact there's no way he wouldn't have done what he did.
Excellent. Excellent. And the next, hold on, I got to keep up with these questions over here. The next question I have is, do you get a bonus every month, or does it depend on monthly goals?
So I have monthly goals for all my offices, and I'll tell you all right now.
Every office does.
Every office does, and they're all fake.
Well,
they're great things to strive for.
They're a guideline. They're a good guideline.
I don't even use them as a guideline. So you're not paid off of beating a goal. You're paid off of, your goal could be to do 135,000 and you did 130, and you're going to get the same bonus amount at 130, whether
your goal was 180 or a goal was 130.
So obviously, like,
it doesn't really matter.
They're targets to try to shoot for, and they're based on data that's been collected from previous years and trends in the market. And so, of course, I want everybody to hit a budget that I set for them, but the budget's more for the team to have like a common goal to get behind and try and achieve.
Oh yeah, you mean assistants and
office
staff,
office managers, all that.
That's a good point.
The pay will never differ for my doctors
based on
they hit some fictitious number that I say.
Excellent. Thanks, Doc. The next one I have is, if the owner doctor has multiple offices and you get an opportunity to work under them, any advice from mentorship viewpoint for working as an associate at the main office where the owner doctor works, or can you choose to work at his or her other office as an associate if you're straight out of school, if you're a straight out of school dentist?
So I've done it both ways. Typically, the doctors that I don't have a home base that's like, hey, for the next 10 years, I'm working out of this office. Me personally, I don't do that. When I first started this off, I had to have a home base because I was in central Missouri. And when I moved to Kansas City, that kind of changed. But I kind of had, quote, the golden goose. And that was Jefferson City. And so I trained a doctor for 3 months, and his first year out of school, he made $360,000. And I'm not saying like money is everything, but he trained with the owner for 4 months. I've also had an associate in my Columbia practice, and I trained with them
8 weeks, maybe
8 weeks, probably, but the other doctor got a lot more training.
So yes, to answer the question, you'll likely be placed in an office because, unless you're hired for a float position, most doctors, aside from the owner doctor who owns multiple offices, will place you in an office, and then they'll come in and work with you in that office. So you get familiar with it, and you can be productive in your office. And when you're in your office, then you bonus out of that office as an associate or an MCD. So typically we like to keep the doctor in one place, and the owner doctor comes in and mentors them.
So I'll come into your office and I'll teach you how to do horizontal thirds, place implants, tori, but I'd rather come to you and do it and learn on your patients, because then you actually get a benefit out of it.
Mhm.
Because you're getting your bonus out of your office that you're working in. You meet an associate.
Thank you. Thank you guys for answering that. The next one I have is it worth considering a location that doesn't offer much competition, like a rural town, which
Can
Okay.
be.
So I will tell you right now that some of the better offices are typically more rural.
Because there's less competition.
There's less competition. You're the only dentist for 50 square miles, and
Or one of
you
few.
see,
Yeah.
you know, my offices typically see between 8 to 10 new patients a day, whereas there's offices that are more mature in more developed areas, and they see 4 or 3 new patients, and so I get 10 chances at it, and you get 3. Like,
So being in a rural community can be of a benefit. Financial motivation. Sure.
excellent. So the next thing I have is, what is the cost of an Aspen dental practice, and how long will it take you to pay off the purchase of your Aspen office?
The purchase of an office.
The purchase of an office is now $350,000 to buy a single office.
That includes an iTero scanner and a CBCT.
And implant training and Invisalign training.
I
I typically partner, and my office is at about $100,000 for 30%. And then I take on usually the iTero and CBCT fees for you. My partner in Columbia paid it off in 0.8 years, whatever that means.
Really?
I paid it off in 0.8 years.
I didn't know that.
I'm going to be partnering in November in Independence, Missouri, and his projected payoff is 1.3 years, however many.
For a full-on ownership, it's rough. It's a 5-year note on that.
I take out 5-year notes on the practices.
So $350,000 over 5 years is the full note for a full owner.
Excellent.
Partnership, usually, you make such good money, you pay off $100,000 pretty quick.
Absolutely. Excellent. So moving over to a couple of clinical questions that are here. We want to know, what assortment of procedures do you perform in your office, and will I perform a wide range of procedures?
Yeah, for sure. So, you do your, so new patient exams, of course, and then you do crown and bridge, and you do restorative, and you do denture care, and you do tons of surgery, and you can place implants, and you can do endo,
Wisdom teeth.
and thirds, wisdom teeth. You don't really do any periodontal surgery, but I guess if you wanted to do like laser stuff, you could. But overall, you do, it's a general dentist position, so you do general dentistry.
Our practices typically have some of them have endodontists that come in and can do endo for you. Most of them have oral surgeons that come in and can place implants, do thirds. Personally, in my practices, we do use the oral surgeon, but I do all the thirds. I'm going to teach all my docs to do them if they want to. I do all endo. I don't do a ton of molar, just financially. It's not feasible. We place implants, we do tori, we do
Thirds, a lot of thirds.
pull teeth out of
A lot of
sinuses.
full mouth surgeries.
Yeah.
Restorative, regular dentistry.
And at the same time, we do 50 crowns a month. So like, if you're like, I'm coming to Aspen to pull teeth, that's not the case. Like, we do a lot of restorative work as well.
Absolutely. There's about 7 minutes left. So if anyone else has additional live questions, then let me know. But otherwise, I'll get through these last couple of questions, Dux, for you guys. And this one is, how skilled is your support staff? Are you involved in the hiring?
You
are.
You can be as involved as you would like to be. I call myself medium involved.
Yeah.
If I had a regional manager or an office manager interview a candidate that I didn't get to meet, I give them full reins. They know the culture of my offices. And
if they say they're great, this is going to be an awesome addition, then
yeah, so I'm trusting them to
Now you hire your doctors, of course.
I typically hire the doctors. Yeah, I'm gonna.
But
hire
you
the
like
doctors.
to try to meet. We like to try to meet people, and you know, if they're able to come into the office and do their interview during the day, then we can visit with them. Yeah, certainly.
And then how skilled is your support staff?
So I have the world's best regional manager who I talk to 3 times a day. He's probably my best friend. I have a wonderful director. I have probably one of the best TAM leaders ever. She can smile.
That's Crystal.
I'm very fortunate in our market to have such great support. I love Aspen from that standpoint of how great the support is. I mean, Adrienne can attest to it. She's tried to kick me off the phone.
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah, no, you can work side by side training furthermore of support staff, if you are wanting to be involved in training your dental assistants, you can certainly do hands-on training with your dental assistants.
if you don't want to, Josh or Monica.
If you don't want to, somebody else can train your dental assistants. But there's support staff in area managers, office managers, regional managers, directors, who help with what you need. And a lot of them have been with Aspen for a long time.
The only thing that kind of bothers me is that you train these doctors and then they go by their own practice and they copy you with all black figs. And then they don't pay attention to what you're saying.
Can he hear you? I don't think he can hear you.
I don't know if he can hear you, but he's walking in his practice.
Yep.
He has a couple of late patients.
That's funny.
I'll make sure I repeat that for him, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you hear that, Dr. Marina?
No, what was it?
Oh, Joseph's just giving you hell.
Oh, I didn't hear him. Sorry.
We're copying the all black figs.
My what?
You're all black figs.
Oh, whatever. Don't be jelly.
Let me give you
I had a patient and my assistants weren't able to figure out their temporaries, and we had like 7. So
Awesome. The patient comes first. Absolutely, Doc. Well, let me ask you the next couple ones. And Doc, we only have minutes left, so I'll just ask you guys 2 more questions here. But they want to know, how will I be assigned patients if I'm an associate?
You can do anything you want.
Pardon
So
me?
you can do anything. You can see any case you want. You're not assigned to a patient. You don't only make money if you do the high dollar cases. Remember, the production's based on the entire office, the compensation is. So you can choose, hey, I want to do preps today, or hey, I want to do denture cases, or hey, I want to watch you do this.
A lot of times in my office, my associate is going to be doing all the production, or 90% of it, and I'm going to be taking care of all the other stuff. And
Because
then
you want them to become professional.
because I want them to become proficient, and I'm trying to grow you to be an MCD. And the only way to do that is to do the work. There's no shortcuts. And so my associates do more dental work than I do.
Not anymore, yeah.
Yeah, anymore. And so, like, ask Dr. Marina, he trained with me. Like, he did, you're going to do the thirds, you're going to do the extractions, you're going to cut these crowns. Like, I've cut 4,000 of them. It's your turn.
Dr. Marina, what are you doing with your associates? Same type of aspect here, or they're willing to know just what, how do they know who they're going to see?
Yeah, my associates, they see everything. When I had Dr. Com here, we had him like the first week or two, I had him following me for everything. Like, he was attached to my hip, every single procedure, seeing new patient exams, doing all the, just assisting me the first week or 2. And then after that, I started assisting him, and I was directing him, teaching him how to do third molars, how to, do the hard extraction cases, how to treatment plan. And I was sitting there with him for the first few weeks and everything. And then I kind of let him do his things on his own. And if he ever got stuck on something, then I was jumping in on the procedures. But it was never, it's never a competition. Like, I want my associates to learn everything that I know and everything that I was taught. And then they can, make their own blend of things from everything that they've learned.
Absolutely. Let's end on, because I know they want to know about the technology. So we have also, what technologies are available? Are you fully digital? Will I be working with outdated technologies or systems?
Everything here is brand new. We have a cone beam in my office. I think by the end of this year, they're gonna have a cone beam and an iTero in every single office. And the iTero is way better than like E4D or CEREC or anything like that. I use it for everything from crowns to making partial dentures. I mean, Joseph, I think you've even done a full denture with it, haven't you?
Yes. So like the technology, I feel like we used to maybe be a little bit
In
behind,
case you don't know, the iTero is a digital scanner that scans the mouth for crowns,
partials.
bridges, partials, in
Dentures.
Joseph's case, a full denture, night guards. So
Invisalign.
Invisalign, yeah. We do that too. That
So
hasn't been touched on.
Aspen's pretty unique in that we have a board certified orthodontist.
Board certified orthodontist who manages our Invisalign cases. And we have really good support with that. I'm almost done. No, I'm not done. I'm almost done.
I have
Yeah.
got one last question that someone just put up that I'll put this as, they
I'm
want
almost-
to know about if you offer CE courses. Would one of you like to just take that last one on CE courses, and then I'll let you get on with your nights?
Yeah, for sure. You can log on to the Bridge, which is the Aspen Dental only kind of internal webpage, and you can take, oh God, there's probably 100 hours of CE on there. That's online, free, on demand. You can do it anytime. There's other ones that are live courses that it's free, but you just have to be available on Friday from 3 to 5 or whatever. Just last weekend, Joseph and I did 10.5 hours of implant training free through Aspen. So yes, there's lots of opportunity for continuing ed.
Excellent. Dr. Marina, anything else to add from what you've seen for continuing ed?
No, like Dr. Adrian was saying, I mean, it's awesome. Like, the website has a ton of stuff on there. I mean, like whenever I first started, like I had the same kind of questions, but I mean, realistically, continuing ed that we get just through the like lift training and everything that you go to once you get started, I mean, is way more than you would even have time to do on your own as a, private practice dentist.
Absolutely. Excellent. So I'll remind everyone, if you have additional questions, you have my email address. Certainly, I know both doctors or all doctors have been open. I can send them over questions as well. But if you have anything after our session is over, you're welcome to send that to me. And Dr. Formonix, Dr. Marina, thank you guys so much again for this evening and for taking your time. I appreciate it so much. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.